Mr. Young, welcome to Dubai, and it's a pleasure meeting you here today.
Thank you. Pleasure is ours.
Tell us about Doxa and start with what you are wearing today.
So first of all, we're happy to be in Dubai, to be able to announce now the presence of Doxa, the diver collection here in Dubai, such as also in the entire GCC region. And it's more an honor for us not just to explore a new market, it's especially also we're very proud to be able to work together with the company Seddeqi, such as the family behind. And also before we decided to step into this market, what was amazing also to hear from the family that in the 50s, the family was already working at the time with Doxa. And today in the landscape of many brands being around, not just in Dubai globally, but here in the region, it seems to be, and I'm not a specialist, that it started in the 50s with not so many brands. I think it was West End was a brand at the time, was very known.
Yes.
Ernst Borel.
Yes, that's the brands that's still alive.
Yes.
Since then.
Yeah, and Doxa.
And Doxa now.
And Doxa really has a root not only here in Dubai, in the Emirates, but in the entire GCC region. And it's for the, I don't want to call them older, let's call them more experienced people. Doxa is a brand name which is familiar. And so this makes us also proud to come back here. That's
great. Tell us about what you are wearing.
So this one here is now a 300 carbon edition, which we launched 2 years ago. But it's based to its roots. Doxa starting into the divers category started 1967. And this watch in stainless steel got launched with an orange dial. I keep it short, and orange was revolutionary in '67 when you look at the style and the design of divers watches. Went back just shortly where Doxa in the '64 started to go in that field to explore the ocean. And the end of the '60s, the ocean was such as a mystery like the space. When you look '69 with the first landing on the moon. And they made a testing at the time in the lake of Neuchâtel, which is close to Bienne. And which color, and Lake of Neuchâtel is not the Maldives, it's dark.
Yes.
And they saw at the time that orange at the end of the day was the most prized color, where the first 30-40 meters you can read the time.
It stands out very well.
It stands out, so, but it was revolutionary.
Exactly.
And at the time, a diving watch was also a lifesaver. Today, the people, they dive with computers, so it was important. And just to close the term in the last 2 years, when you see the orange, Doxa went into colors with yellow, we went into colors with aquamarine. The last 2 years it became very fashionable for certain brands to choose also all these colors. Suddenly the market blew up. Oh, we have now a certain XX blue and whatever. And we were just standing in our corner in the offices and say, oh, those colors we used it over 50 years ago already.
Belong to us. They are using the same color, but different shades.
Colors do not belong to someone,
yes.
But we use them already 50, 60 years ago already.
I mean, it belong to us in terms we started. We were there the first, we used to use those colors a long ago.
We did, and you know, in today's world, marketing, Instagram goes very fast. Stories can be told in whatever direction, but with Doxa there's something very unique. You can track it, it's true, and it was there, and this is the solid fundament of still what happened end of the '60s, what we do today. Of course, we adapt to today's generation, but the roots are there.
I see. Since you took over the brand 2.5 years, right?
Yes.
So you know there are many diver watches in the market, many diver watches. How do you see Doxa among all these lines, and how Doxa can win this competition?
It's not about winning, it's where you come from. First of all, it is Doxa was in '68 the first watch with a helium valve being available to end consumers. There was another brand, they served the diving organizations. The clear message we have is Doxa stays in the water. We're not trying to please pilots. We're not trying to follow a fashion trend in car industry. Doxa stays in the water since over 50 years. So now when you talk about other brands, yeah, they do diver watches. And sometimes there's nice divers watches out there too, but such as you do pilot watches, you do car watches. Do we follow all the time the trends? not for Doxa. And the collectors, the end consumers, they know about the heritage in diving. In '69, Jean-Jacques Cousteau, the collaboration we had with Aqualung. Aqualung in the divers organization is a traditional collaboration between Doxa and Aqualung. Not everyone has. It's not just because you do a diver's watch, automatically you're in that category over 50, 60 years to be honored and welcomed. Today the challenge is you need to bring in the next generation. And the next generation, they were happy, but we need to tell the story again. I'm giving you, when I started 2.5 years ago, Jean-Jacques Cousteau. The older generation, it's Calypso in the 50s. I needed to watch those films at school. But today I went to my son, who at the time was 14 years old. And I told him, Misha, do you know Jean-Jacques Cousteau? He said, oh, is this a new player from Paris Saint-Germain? So you need to go back, this heritage, bring it to the next generation, adapt it with the nice products, bring Doxa to the wrist of the next generation, and it works. Every year, Doxa, what we're selling, we have over 60% first-time buyers, which is a very good result. And then not everyone is diving who buys a diver's watch. So we call them the desk divers. Mm-hmm. So once the desk divers, but once you're on the desk, what could be the second watch? And now, if they have a first criteria to make a good experience with Doxa, and also when you see the price range, now in Swiss francs, Doxa is sold between 1,000 to 5,000 retail. Already in the end of the 60s, Doxa was known to offer a bloody hell of watch for a very good retail price. And this was all the time in end consumer's mind that it's very fair balanced.
Beautiful answer. But that means Doxa will be always dedicated to the water, underwater.
Yeah.
Always. You will never see Doxa come with the car or with the car industry.
So
goes with
definitely not. Listen, the people being in charge 50 years from now on.
They're still in charge.
So in 50 years, I hope these people, they will be happy what we do in 2022.
Yeah.
So if you give a lifetime promise, this in humanity you can't do. Yes. Not we, definitely not planning it.
You promise in your lifetime.
In my lifetime, yes.
All right.
But if you ask me ever,
fair
the
enough.
people in 50 years, I cannot stand up
No,
for them.
I will not ask you about something else.
No, we stay in the water, yes.
Yeah, stay in the water. Okay, good. So we were talking before the interview, and you told me that you are producing 14,000 a watch per year, and you are selling more than 10,000.
Last year, 2021, we sold over 10,000 pieces.
Was only last year the big difference? But
no, so it was a huge increase because with Doxa something completely anti-cycle is happening. Anti-cycle means Doxa was one of the first brands being present in the online business. In 2001, we started to be online. Online in 2001, on the watch industry, there was a mystery.
Exactly.
It did not exist.
No one was enjoying such a thing.
Yeah. We did. Watch. And now what we do now, today you have a lot of brands, they try to go to the online business, and Doxa does the opposite. The online business, something.
We started from the online.
Now we go the other way around, so we can wave to all the brands walking the bridge in this direction, and we cross them and we walk in this direction. And now that's why we open very exclusively retailers. We need the offline market, but on very exclusive basis. We're not trying to go everywhere, in every city, every corner.
So you work with the partners in the region, whatever region is, through the online as well?
Yes, so also when you see, for example, on our website, now in the last 2.5 years, we opened up over 80 retailers already. But I tell you, the premium ones, such as Seddeqi in other markets. So there's a reason that Doxa enters there, because we know our part, how to move in that field. But on retail, we can't do it alone. We need the experience of the local, in our point of view, best players. And those will be our partners to bring Doxa to the next level.
Great. So what is the best line or the closest line to you, Jan?
So the closest is really the Heritage. It's a 300T.
You have 7 lines, right?
Yes, 7 productions, so 7 collections. In SKUs per line, we have 14. It's very, also the collection is very easy understandable. You have 7 colors since a long time.
The same.
Also the white one, we launched it last year.
Okay.
So, but before we had the CRAM and the silver, but then you have the 7 watches with a metal bracelet, the beads of rice bracelet, still today the same design as in 68.
So, what is the key you are going to use? So you're dedicated to underwater,
yes,
which is clear. You are dedicated to diver watches, which is so pretty clear. So now we are talking about what is the winning key for Doxa. So are you going to develop the materials, movements, shape?
Also first of all, it's for Doxa, it's the credibility. And credibility is not something which you can gain with fashion. That takes a long time.
That's for sure.
To get credibility. This Doxa has. Secondly, the quality. Our watches, quality-wise, they fully fulfill all the measurements in being a functional watch. Now, when you talk about movements, we got requests, oh, Jan, I would like to have a see-through on the watch on the back. I said, really, for a diver's watch? There's diver's watches out there with a see-through. It's pretty much a joke. Because a see-through dial, if you dive, bumps off, your watch is gone.
Yes.
So, the functionality is a key element. Now also in today's world with the sustainability, what did we do with the forged carbon? Forged carbon did not exist in the 60s. Our new model now here, which we launched with the Army, with the bronze. The bronze was not an aspect in design end of the 60s. But here we match the Swiss Army, the history from the past with today and the future. And of course we play around with material. Now the research of material just to stay in the water, in salt water, has its limitation. But now you can go far beyond. The world of sustainability is, there's beautiful products already outside where you use material, which is recycled. But you can go much further. Don't just think about the material itself. Go about the production. Think about CO2 emissions. Look about alternative energy levels. I'm telling that in 3 to 5 years, could you ever imagine that the production in watch industries, how can you weave the strengths of sun? It's possible. It just needs time. It needs investments. So, and I think Doxa's end of the 60s stood already out. In 68, the Swiss Army, we produced 150 watches exclusively for the Swiss Army. In 68. For the Swiss Army division, and the Swiss Army division at the time, 68 people staying in the Swiss Army, they didn't know that this division existed. It was secret. And just now, that's why we launched now this collection, because the Ministry of Defense last November disclosed it, because 50 years you're not allowed to talk. And now we are there, and now we can talk about it.
Okay, tell us about I like what you are wearing, I like the carbon you are using in it.
Yeah, and also here, the case.
It looks so slim.
Yeah, it is. It's also, it's a 42, a 38 millimeter opening, but the full dial here is Super Luminova, and the case in itself only weighs 44 grams.
So light, super
yes. And this is also an example how you combine 67 with the year 2020, where we launched it. And I hope what I mentioned before, the people being in charge in Doxa in 50 years, they said, oh, these guys in 22, at least they also offered us to combine actual materials with replica designs from the past.
Any new collection or any new line on the way?
We have, I'm telling you, many ideas. And it's not only the collection. Next year we do something amazing in June, where we show a huge honor to someone who was staying very close to Doxa. More I cannot tell.
Person. Well,
Inshallah.
Good. Yeah, after the video you should tell me. Huh? After the video you should tell me. Okay. Tell us about this one.
So this is the 300T 68 We're now a museum, we also keep the original pieces, more and more we buy back. So here, and this was a revolution at the time also of the helium valve. And helium valve at the time was the particles of helium being in the air, which could enter normally into the watch. And if you have helium parts here, it can blow off the glass. And then when you're diving, you have other problems. So the functionality of the watch the demand was there already. And so, but this is the talking piece where today the collectors and all this, when they describe Doxa, they describe it with this product line, the 300T.
Well, talking about collectors, where do you see the most people are asking for Doxa, the best, or where do you sell the most?
It's the first was Anglo-Saxophonic markets. That's history-based. It's the United States, UK and Australia. It has its reasons because Jean-Jacques Cousteau in '69 with Aqualung, he started to distribute Doxa in the United States.
Exactly.
So that is the reason. So Anglo-Saxophonic speaking markets are the at most in percentage who knows Doxa. Now here in Dubai we have a big advantage. In the UK we started 2 years ago already. In the UK we have over 15 points of sales already, also with Watches of Switzerland, really with esteemed partner. And here we could feel already, I mean Dubai you have a lot of UK visitors. So here we built already a first bridge. Now we intensify it, but the people visiting Dubai, parts of them, they know Doxa already pretty much well.
That's nice. Anything you want to add about Doxa?
No, I could talk for hours, so I don't know how much your TV
well,
team is.
we do have all the hours. The problem, they don't have the time here.
No, it's all the time. We look forward. It's also the distribution of Doxa to be in the region on exclusive basis. Next year, Asia will follow. We could have opened Asia 2 years ago, but we don't want. It's really go step by step. Importance also, Doxa doesn't belong to a group. Not that this by itself is bad, but we're pretty much very appreciative to be in a family.
Exactly.
And
we all agree.
And fast decision can be taken on a fundamental base of flexibility.
Exactly. Well, Mr. Rian, was really a pleasure meeting you.
Great.
Wish you all the best and have a great stay here in Dubai.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.